Texas Attorney General sues doctor over gender-affirming care. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed a first-of-its-kind lawsuit in American history. He's made headlines by suing Dr. May C. Lau, a prominent physician, for providing gender-affirming care to minors. The suit alleges that Lau, a professor at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center and a practitioner at Children's Health in Dallas, violated Texas laws against gender-affirming care. Paxton claims she prescribed cross-sex hormones to at least 21 young individuals for gender transition. Additionally, he accuses her of violating the state's business code by allegedly engaging in, quote, false, misleading, and deceptive acts, end quote, to mislead pharmacies and insurance providers regarding her testosterone prescriptions. In a press release, Paxton stated, quote, growing scientific evidence strongly suggests that gender transition interventions prescribed to or performed on children in an attempt to anatomically or hormonally alter their biological sex characteristics have damaging long-term consequences, end quote. This lawsuit follows a legislative ban signed by Governor Greg Abbott, which was recently upheld in court. You know, again, we were talking in a past story about gender-affirming care and how the Trevor Project states that children that are trans and they're LGBTQ plus youth, right, if they have gender-affirming care and support, they're less likely to want to take their own lives, you know?
The cruelty is the point here.
Cruelty, that's a great way to put it.
And also, it is also that quote that Paxton gave out, completely inaccurate. AMA, you know, the pediatric organizations, CDC all suggested that transition and the use of hormones as, you know, and it's a healthy way to start the transition process until we become an adult and you can perform, you know, surgical intervention.
If you decide to go that
gender
route.
conforming surgeries.
Yeah.
The whole thing, they cherry pick evidence, and I'm guessing that it is I don't know which court held that up, but I'm going to guess it's probably a Republican appointed judge.
You think?
Yeah.
Probably the Trump judge who was in that one county in northern Texas, the federal court of northern Texas, that have rubber stamped every single ban. They try to ban birth control pills. They try to ban morning after pills. They try to ban RU486. They rush it to the courthouse, and the guy would just rubber stamp it because he is a Christian nationalist.
Yeah.
We are literally seeing in Texas and also in our home state of Florida the effects of Project 2025. You don't actually have to wait to see it. It's not going to be like looming in the distance. No, it's already here.
It's seeping in already.
It's seeping in.
It's really the politics of fear. Just fear and fear-mongering, and making people afraid of what they don't even know anything about.
Yeah.
And what they think they don't know anything about, because chances are that everybody has some connection with a trans person, or, you know, so it's just, go ahead.
I think the politics of fear is too kind. You know, the governor of Texas, I did a piece a few months ago about authoritarianism that we're seeing in this country, and I didn't realize a man shot and murdered someone because he was a right-winger, going after a left-winger, and the governor pardoned him. It is legal. Hunting season is open on the left in Texas, and it is a very scary thing to see that. And people are like, well, what is this connected with that? They're now going after queer kids in a very violent way, prosecuting a doctor for gender-affirming care, which, as you were noting, and like I have a friend who's a therapist who helps trans kids. You don't just walk in there like, okay, let's just start tomorrow. I got the plastic surgeon on speed dial. That's not
you don't
how it
walk
works.
in and snip.
It is a multi-year process. You often have to live with the other gender for at least a year.
Yeah.
And it's a big thing. And also, let's also remember, because people talk about, oh, well, sometimes people they want to detransition. I'm like, people are more likely to get rid of their Harry Potter tattoo than they are to detransition.
Very
so
true.
we do need to remember that when we talk about this.
This whole thing about 1 in 3 kids want to detransition. No, that's a blatant lie.
Yeah.
They found 1 or 2 people who have this detransition, put them on the
pedestal
pedestal, give them an X account, and Elon Musk will amplify their voice.
And I do want to say, there's nothing wrong with detransitioning too. For the kids that you have to go through your feelings in that journey, that's okay. But it's very rare because there are all these processes in place.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a 1, 2, 3
Right.
thing. And how about the healthcare practitioners now that, my wife is a nurse practitioner and I got to tell you that she's afraid of DeSantis and she's not afraid of too many people.
Because people can go to prison.
Well, that's also your livelihood, I mean, like that's how you make your living. And like you're gonna be afraid to lose your license because you're helping someone. Isn't that a vow that you take or some shit when you decide to be a
it's a
health
code of ethics.
practitioner?
But it's not just also being afraid of those things; it's being afraid of the people who are being egged on with this information, who have AKR, what are those called? What are they called?
AR-15. Yeah.
Who have guns and are willing to use them.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is knowledge that are being under attack. Their movement is completely anti-intellectual. They want you to not learn anything so that you can fear everything or just believe what you tell them.
Yeah. Sounds like Korea.
One thing I know. Oof, Miami's an international city. We don't get this political.
Well, we do, actually.
yeah, they
Abbott
do.
and DeSantis are the same.
Yeah.
Go to
gonna-
Gayocho. Go to Gayocho. Trump flags are everywhere.
I've got my Brickle bubble.
Yeah, for sure. You go a little bit more south, you'll see we're very
Or
similar.
west.
And unfortunately, DeSantis and Abbott are all taking pages out of the Trump book, and they're really trying to instill that on us. I can't wait for DeSantis to be gone already.
Yeah.
Are we counting down the days?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my God, we should have
2 years left.
We should have a countdown. We should have a
Right.
countdown. Oh my God.